the essence of the eternal divine spirit, the one that causes all that exists to exist, the one that is self-existent.
How many men have children and the children never meet their father? See, you created a void in that child because you are a part of that child.
Black power! Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Are you feeling fatigued and can barely make it through the day without some type of caffeine?
Are you on a journey of healing your body but need a little help?
Then alkaline water is what you really need.
Alkaline water has many benefits. Alkaline water can help restore pH balance in the body. Consuming beverages such as soda and coffee can make your body acidic.
Did you know that too much acid in your body has been linked to an anemia, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, autoimmune disease, chronic pain, and other chronic conditions like gout and arthritis?
Those who use alkaline water have reported increased energy levels, clearer skin, reduction in inflammation, better digestion, and many other health benefits. I've used alkaline water for years, and it's been instrumental in sustaining my health when I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis.
Are you ready to take responsibility for your body's health?
If the answer is yes, then our alkaline water is just what you need. Bring your own bottles. It's only $3 for each gallon. To place an order or for more information, you can reach us at 773-846-3091. Thank you in advance for your support.
Hi, my name is Sister Ebony Stevenson. I am your announcer for today. Welcome to the Toma Nation's weekly Sunday worship service from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. every Sunday at 616 East 71st Street here in Chicago, Illinois, and also live on Facebook. If you would like more information, you can reach us at www.facebook.com/TomaNation2 or give us a call at 773-952-8302. Now I am going to recite our opening. In the name of the eternal divine spirit, the one that causes all that exists to exist, the one that is self-existent, the one who directs the sunships of millions and trillions of years, and the one who made time the seed of the universe, known among the ancient Kemites or Egyptians as Amun-Ra and Aton, among the Hebrews as Ansar, Yahweh, and Elohim, among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah, among the Muslims and Islamic world as Allah, the one God, among the Rastafarians as Jahi, Rastafari, among the Yoruba tribes of West Africa as Omari, Eshu, and many other Orisha names. I bear witness that all these names refer to the same one, Almighty Spirit, and it is to that essence which I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, the descendants of those black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, are the Lost 13 tribe, born in North America and are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the earth flows through our veins. I greet you in the ancient but holy words of peace, Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Habaragani, Alafia, and Ashe. Now I am going to recite the 13 points of what we believe and know. Number 1. We believe and know that we are not to repeat the mistakes of the past prophets and messengers of the Almighty Creator of the heavens and earth. Number 2. We believe and know that we can only establish an economic base through the application of the knowledge of self and the incorporation of the ideologies of the Honorable Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Mahatma Gandhi, and Ben Ami. Number 3. We believe and know that the prophets and messengers of the Holy Bible, the Holy Quran, and the Kemetic Holy Books were all black. Number 4, we believe and know that Jesus Christ of 2,000 years was and is a black man. Number 5, we believe and know that the knowledge of the Almighty Creator goes beyond books written by the prophets and messengers of the Almighty Creator. Number 6, we believe and know that in order to promote and coordinate unity, we must first recognize and accept the uniqueness of being able to worship our Creator, regardless of religious denomination, name, title, ritual, particular dress, or holy book, as long as it recognizes the Almighty Creator of the heavens, earth, and the universe as supreme. Number 7, we believe and know that it is impossible to tell the truth without exposing the wicked governments of the world. Number 8, we believe and know that the United States government, in collaboration with other European nations, have a denial objective to exterminate dark-skinned people of color off the earth through the act of genocide. Number 9, we believe and know that some of the most effective methods that are being used today are AIDS, birth control, alcohol and drug abuse, vaccinations, gang and domestic violence, systematic elimination of trauma centers, the public school system, and public aid within the black communities of America and the world. Number 10, we believe and know that the last trick that Satan is playing on us is the dividing of us by our religious differences, religious gangbanging. Number 11, we believe and know that the conflict between the various religions are comparable to the conflict between various street gangs within the inner cities of America. Number 12, we believe and know that the war on drugs and gangs is a diabolical plot to disarm the black community of weapons, break up the black family, withdraw our constitutional rights, also kill and incarcerate young black males under the undercover code name Able 2029. And number 13, we believe and know that every letter, shape, sound, and numerical value contains esoteric information that completely transcends the specific contextual meaning of the word. Our purpose: to bring about the growth of a righteous community in accordance with the laws of the Creator of the universe, under the leadership and guidance of Brother Minister Rahim Quasad Aton, to provide solutions to the social and economic ills that plague the communities of urban America. Our goal: to re-educate and retrain youth and young adults to develop positive moral values as an alternative to delinquent behaviors, because you can't rebuild a community and not rebuild the minds of the residents of the community to meet the responsibilities of maintaining the community's image. Our mission: to enhance the economic development of our communities by establishing businesses, real and personal properties, thereby creating jobs and/or entrepreneurship training programs that will reverse the concept of leaving the community to buying back the community. Our motto: let your light so shine before men that they shall see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Matthew 5:16. Now we're going to recite our salute to the red, black, and green flag. Everyone put your right fist in the air and repeat after me. Here's to this flag of mine, the red, black, and green. Hopes in its future bright, Africa has seen. Here's to the red of it, great nations shall know of it. In time to come, red blood shall flow of it. Historians shall write of it, this flag of mine. Here's to the black of it, 400 million's back of it, whose destiny depends on it. The red, black, and green of it, oh flag of mine. Here's to the green of it, young men and women shall dream of it, face shots and shells for it, maidens shall sing of it, waving so high. Here's to the whole of it, colors bright and pole of it, pleased is my soul with it, regardless of what is told of it. Thanks to God for giving it, this great flag of mine. Please keep your right fist raised high in the air as we sing our Black National Anthem. Black power, black power, black power. Black power is the power to define, develop, and defend that which is in the best interest of Black people.
Peace, peace, everyone. I am Minister Omari, Jahi. I'm the co-founder of this great movement called the Toma Nation, and along with our founder, Minister Raheem Kased Aton, and our First Lady, Sister Makita Aisha Aton. I welcome you all to the Toma Nation's weekly Sunday broadcast. We broadcast live here on Facebook and on YouTube, and we are located at 616 East on 71st Street. If you'd like to come out and visit us in person, we are there every Sunday from 12:30 to 1:30. So I'd like to get right into the lecture today, seeing how protocol has been set. Our opening was recited. And so I'd just like to get right into it and share with you all. My lecture for today is entitled Leprosy, an American Disease. But now I don't want you to really, how can I say, think about this lecture as being about this old school disease where they used to banish people and everything. I'm only entitling it that because the thing that I really want to touch on is about our desire, we as Black people, our desire to be like white people. We want to be successful, but we have been programmed and brainwashed into believing that being successful is only when you decide or can adjust yourself to be like those that are successful. And what I'm saying is, my phone is just falling all over the place. But what I'm saying here is that, well, you know what? Let me just say it like this. We want jobs and professions that make six figures. You know, like these people in the slide here. These people are successful. We want to be successful. We're intelligent. We're smart. We have all the same skills that all these other people have that are successful. But for some reason, we can't be successful. We can't have the nice homes and the fancy cars or whatever, you know, that these people drive. And we want these things. We want to be able to go on vacations and to have fun and take our families on yearly vacations in the Hamptons and things of that nature like white folks do, you know, because that means you've made it when you've done things like that. We want to be able to send our children to the best prestigious colleges, you know, in the country, you know, even though we have HBCU colleges that are really good, you know, but for some reason these other colleges, You know, if you graduate from those and you put that on your resume and you go in to get a job, you're more likely to get the job more so than a person that maybe was just at a HBCU or maybe even a community college at some city or state college or whatever. But there are some Black people that that have achieved these things. Look at this slide. Look at all of these Black people. Some of these people you don't even know. Let me see. We know Jay-Z, Oprah, Michael Jordan. I don't even know this guy. He don't even look Black. But Rihanna. Now these are billionaires, y'all. And if you can see it, I don't know if you can see it. You can see how many billions they're worth up under here. All of these Black folks are billionaires. Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Tyler Perry. But I have a video I want to show you. Really, it's a couple of videos. I'm just going to show you a few snippets of them, these videos. And these videos are going to kind of give you a, what would I call it? It would give you an idea as to what this lecture is really about, okay? So check this video out.
Discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. But simply put, because I want to make sure that everyone understands, especially my younger audience out there, colorism is basically discrimination based on skin color. The reality is that the lighter your skin tone is, the more privilege you will have. Colorism can happen anywhere in the world, in any country or any community. It is so embedded and deep-rooted in our society that some of us generally aren't aware that it exists or that it is an issue. Colonization aside, there has been a history of classism and hierarchy linked with colorism. There were factors like religion and the caste system. Being darker skinned generally meant you worked outdoors in the fields and you weren't so well off, whereas being lighter skinned showed wealth, as it meant you could afford to stay indoors or have a job inside. Meanwhile, for the Europeans, it's quite the opposite, because being tan shows that you have money, as you had the time and money to go travel and be outdoors, especially during a time like winter. But it's definitely safe to say that the European colonization definitely played a big role. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the European colonization, to briefly explain, the European colonization is basically when the Europeans colonized lands. The European and started exploring.
Dark skin equates to being poor, dirty, ratchet.
They tend to be the bad guys in Tyler Perry movies.
Straight from the border.
That doesn't even make any sense. I'm not deemed as beautiful, therefore I am not beautiful. And those two are not really mutually exclusive.
Could it be that something as early as colonization or slavery is primarily responsible for our beauty standards today? We're talking about who works in the field and who works in the house. We're also talking about rape, the rape of slaves to produce people who are known as mulattoes or mixed race. These standards of beauty travel. Eurocentric standards of beauty travel.
In the Dominican society and our culture, they have a phrase that's like mejorando la raza, advancing the Dominican population and making sure we're going into how they say the better. If you're lighter, you're bettering the race and you're bettering the island, versus if you're just being you.
In the world of pop culture, darker-skinned women have frequently gotten the short end of the success stick. Just consider the most successful Black female singers in the last decade. You could probably come up with dozens of names, including Alicia Keys, Ciara, Mariah Carey, Jhené Aiko, and of course, Beyonce. But can you name even 5 deeply melanated female pop stars? I mean, we did have Brandy as Cinderella, but that was 20 years ago. Wait, was it? From Lena Horne, the first Black actress to sign a major studio deal, to Halle Berry, the first Black actress to win a Best Actress Academy Award, lighter-skinned and often mixed-race women have usually broken through society's biggest barriers first. Now, this isn't to say they weren't hardworking or didn't deserve it, but Black people with lighter skin, straighter hair, and more Eurocentric features have always been more likely to be given the paltry number of opportunities to access white spaces and institutions. This is the reality, but why? Now, before we answer that, we gotta say, who's considered dark-skinned or light-skinned is all relative and definitely varies from culture to culture. But for our purposes, when we say light-skinned, think Nicki Minaj, Zoe Kravitz, Rihanna, Zendaya. And when we say dark-skinned, think Viola Davis, Kelly Rowland, and Lupita. The roots of this light versus dark inequality stem all the way back to the days of slavery, when lighter-skinned slaves, often the mixed children of white slave owners, aka the product of rape, aka you're not slick Thomas Jefferson, were given domestic work as opposed to the physical labor of darker slaves, thus landing higher on the skin tone hierarchy because of their proximity to whiteness. This separation was enacted based on the slave traders' false beliefs that darker-skinned people were better suited for hard labor, whereas lighter-skinned blacks were thought to be better suited for intelligent and domestic tasks. Don't get it twisted though, whether in the house or in the field, they were still enslaved, so it was definitely not a choice, no matter what your weird cousin on Facebook says. Out of the house slave versus field slave mentality came white supremacist stereotypes that framed light-skinned people as the good blacks and darker-skinned people as lazy, unintelligent, unattractive, undesirable, criminal, aggressive, and just all around bad.
Now, I think that kind of gives you a great idea as to what we're addressing here today. Leprosy was a disease that by which when you caught this disease, your skin turned white. Now, why am I using this and calling it a 2023 disease? It's because we are under the assumption, and we have been programmed and we've been led to believe that I guess being more like white people, white men, white women, being more like them, even the children acting more like the white kids used to be back in the day. Comedians used to tell jokes about it, how white kids would act up in the store and how they would carry on and throw temper tantrums and things of that nature. Now, Black kids have taken up that concept or whatever. But my point here is that if we want to be successful, and we want all those things, and we feel that we have the ability to get those things, the homes, the cars, the six-figure income, things of that nature. And if we want those things, then we have to play the game. We have to go along or play the rules of the game in order to be successful. And if you are a rebel and you are what they call it, like a vigilante against those type of changes that you have to make to yourself in order to be successful, in order to be recognized, in order to be accepted, then you get whatever's left. You get the scraps. Now, let me share something with you. Let me show you something. Here's a recording artist, the greatest recording artist to ever live, Mr. Michael Jackson, right? This is his album from 1979, Off the Wall, right? Look at Mike. Got the afro, dark skin, nice looking young black man, right? But when Michael came out with this album, I just saw a documentary on Michael Jackson a couple of days ago. And it had in there that when Michael Jackson came out with Off the Wall in 1979, when they went to the Grammys in that following year in 1980, Michael Jackson expected to win multiple Grammys because this was his goal. His thing was to be the best, the greatest entertainer ever. That was his goal. And he came out with Off the Wall, which had a lot of nice hits on it, right? But the white folks only allowed him to have one Grammy. I can't remember what it was for. I think it was something like best male recording artist or male artist or something to that effect, right? Michael Jackson was pissed. He was extremely upset, and so he went back into the woodshed and he decided that he was going to come out with Thriller, which you see from 79 to 82, that's like what, 3 years? So he went into the woodshed 3 years now. Let's look at how he's looking. Look at the skin color versus his skin color here. We can definitely see the difference, right? And so I believe Michael Jackson understood, even though this, I know this vitiligo thing, you know, that came out and everything, and he lightened his skin. But you know, let me say this to you guys. Vitiligo is not an excuse for Michael to do this to himself. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot this slide. When Michael Jackson first, check this out. When Michael Jackson came out with Thriller, the first song that they released off of the Thriller album was Billie Jean, right? Now, Billie Jean, Michael Jackson wanted MTV to play his Billie Jean video, but they refused to play it because MTV, of course, was racist. And MTV, they wanted only white videos. They considered their platform to be a rock platform. And at that time, there was no black people in rock, so it was all white people, you know, that had their videos being shown. These kind of white, y'all, well, I know some of them. Well, not really. I don't know that many of them, but these are the kind of people that MTV was showing their videos, right? Michael Jackson got all his white friends that he had that had influence, and they forced MTV to show his Billie Jean video. And do you know that when MTV gave in and showed his Billie Jean video in 1981, MTV took off. Billie Jean was a successful, hot video, and Michael Jackson opened the door. But look at his skin though; he's getting lighter and lighter. You see, leprosy, and see that's why I want to make that a new term for us in 2023, for people that desire to be white in order to be successful. They are lepers. They are under the leprosy disease, believing that they have to be white. And I mean, now that you really think about it, you know, the reality is in this world that's ruled predominantly by white. Well, no, I don't even say white because it ain't even white no more. I say pale-faced people, because you know these Arabs and other nationalities, even Mexicans and Chinese or whatever, they will consider themselves not to be white, but they're pale-faced, some of them. You see, so and then now, even in this society, we got your Oreo black folks. You know what Oreo is. Black on the outside, white on the inside, right? And so Michael Jackson went through a transformation in order to be the king of pop. Here he is in 1980. Black man. He started getting lighter 3 years later. Now, this is when Thriller came out. Keep in mind. In 83, 84. He's putting the makeup on there. You notice his nose is getting thinner too. In 1986, he done transferred all the way over. Pale face. And it gets worse. 89, look at this. 94. I mean, he almost looked like a white sheet of paper. And so my point here, brothers and sisters, that leprosy is, by definition, this is a contagious disease that affects the skin and causes discoloration. So, just like in those videos, we were seeing how we were beginning to be able to understand and see that success had a lot to do with light skin, and it came from slavery. And this is why I'm saying it's an ancient disease. This is not just a disease that's just I guess happening in the modern era. No, this has been going on since slavery, when the slave master raped our black women, and she had mulatto babies. Those mulatto babies were brought into the house to be servants because they were more lighter than the dark-skinned blacks that were in the field. And so those light-skinned blacks were having it a little better because they were in the house, even though they still were slaves. And I'm saying all this to say that there is there's a concept that I want you all to understand, you know, that deals with victimizers and their victims. I said this before, and I'm gonna keep saying it until people really get an understanding of this. That now this is not 100% thing that I'm about to say. I don't know what the percentage is, but I do know this much, that victims, when you are a victim of abuse, domestic violence, I'll even go that far, because believe it or not, slavery was domestic violence. It was, and domestic violence is aggressive behavior within the home. That's the definition of domestic violence. Aggressive behavior within the home. The plantation was the white man's home, and he was aggressively, violently abusing human beings in his home, on his property. That is technical domestic violence. Now, we well understand that when women, oh, that's true, under W. Du Bois, yes, all mulatto members, see, light skin. Thank you, Minister. You know, but when we are abused, it has an effect on us, a long-term effect. And there's even another part that's connected to it. They call it, oh man, what is it called? When the person that has kidnapped you and done you wrong and abused you over a period of time, and you're now seem like you're indebted to them, or you feel like you have some kind of, they call it something, I can't remember, but you all know what I'm talking about. Somebody typed it in the chat for me. What is it? Stockholm syndrome. Yes, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ebony. Stockholm syndrome. That is exactly what I'm talking about. You know, when you begin to feel some connection to your abuser or your victimizer. And there is a study. It's not a very popular study, but I've been saying this for a while, and I said this when R. Kelly was incarcerated. Nobody really wants to say anything about how R. Kelly, when he was a young boy, was sexually molested and abused by his sister. Nobody's saying anything about that how that has a connection to who and what he was and what he became when he got older. A person that has been molested, a young boy that's been molested by a male when they're young, up into their teens and things of that nature, and then we wonder why that person then, for some reason, feels some kind of innate obligation to keeping with that sexual prowess. See, victims, when you are a victim, and if you are under a certain, no, I won't say a certain, when you are under violent and what's the other word I'm looking for? Abusive, there it is. Violent and abusive treating you violently and abusively, then there are two things that can happen to you. And these are always present. You can grow up and become an advocate against that type of abuse and be a part of these different groups and things of that nature to fight against sexual abuse, domestic violence, all of that kind of stuff. Or you will then become the victimizer. I'm speaking of victims becoming what they are doing to others as was done to them. See, that's in the Bible, isn't it? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. When people are victimized for a period of time to the point to where now it's in their DNA and they believe, well, maybe I won't go as far as say DNA, but they begin to believe that this is what life is, what life is. And so they begin to carry that over into their lives. Now, again, I said earlier, this is not 100%. It's not 100% of people that have been victimized that turn around and become victimizers. But there is a very large percentage that does, but nobody's really embarking on the study of it. Look at this. Symptoms of domestic violence. Controls what you're doing. A person that controls what you are doing. Slavery. The slave master controlled your activity. He controlled where you slept, what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of food you ate. He controlled the work that you did. Now, let's bring it up to 2023. Your boss, your employer, controls what you do during those work hours. He even controls what you do afterwards, but it's like more psychological. We just don't recognize and understand it, but he controls what we are doing. Just like the slave master. He controls what you eat. He controls what kind of clothes you wear because he's the one that's promoting various fashions, the different designers, the music that you listen to. He's behind that. He's behind everything that you so-called like. Everything that you like, he's behind it. And believe me, if you wanted something and he didn't want you to have it, let's say like, I guess what came to my mind was a good education. Because it's my opinion, brothers and sisters, that the education that we are receiving is a very substandard education. But that's not my lecture today. Maybe we'll go into that at another time. But look at some more symptoms. It says, forces you to have sex when you don't want to. This is a part of domestic violence. The slave master raped our women. They didn't want to have sex with him, but they were being raped and having children so that he didn't have to spend money to go buy more slaves. He was reproducing slaves. And if the child came out dark-skinned, the child went into the field. If the child came out light-skinned, the child went into the house. And at some point became the overseer. You know who the overseer is. That's the person that rode around on the horse, making sure the dark niggas were doing what they were supposed to do and got out the whip and whipped anybody that was out of line, kept them in line, you know. And KRS-One told us what that is to this day. He brought it up to date. He said overseer is nothing but officer. Overseer, officer. The officer's job is the same job as the overseer, to make sure the niggas was doing what they was supposed to be doing, keeping going according to the laws that the master had put down. The overseer's job and was to punish the niggas if they got out of line. Excuse me. This is nothing but the officer. And now we got black officers that's more blue than the white officers. They'll beat a nigga down quick, peel his head just to prove that they ain't, they don't have any sympathy or empathy for their own race. Because we have been programmed again, brothers and sisters. Let's see how much time I got. I think I got maybe, oh yeah, I got a couple of minutes. They've been programmed, brothers and sisters, to that if they want to be successful in life, and if they want something for their families, because see, this is, and I've talked to a lot of successful black people, and this is what their thought processes is that they want something for their families for the future. They were tired of passing down debt and bills, you know. And so in order not to be able to keep that cycle of debt and poor and poverty going on into their family generation after generation, they decided that something got to change. And what that change was is that we all know what the rules of the game is. We know what the rules of the game is, brothers and sisters. Whether you play them or not, you know what the rules are. And there are blacks and there are Hispanics and other nationalities that have decided to play the game and play by the rules. Michael Jackson decided, because he wanted to be the greatest entertainer that ever lived so bad, he's decided to play by the rules. Now, at the end of his career, around the end of his career, he began to see what they were doing. At first, he thought that these white folks were helping him, and they were supporting him in his desire to be the greatest entertainer in the world, which they were. And you know why? Because they got filthy rich off of Michael Jackson. Filthy rich. And this is every black person. Jay-Z. These white folks are filthy rich because of Jay-Z. The little billions he got, the little billions that Oprah got, the little billions that LeBron James got is nothing compared to what these white folks have. But we want to have something for our children. So it's called selling out. Back in my day, in my generation, we say when a person does something like that, we call them sellouts. But it's not really, black folks are not, I wouldn't even call it sellout today. I would say that black people are making decisions based on wanting to be successful and tired of being in the condition, how they say is sick and tired of being sick and tired. That these black folks have gotten tired. And I can say this for a fact, because I know how hard it is to try to help black people. I know how hard it is, because how stubborn and how stiff-necked and how rebellious and how backstabbing black people are to each other. You know, and black people treat other black people like trash simply because of the same programming that we saw in the videos earlier. And guess what? But white people treat you so much better. As a musician and as an entertainer, I go do a gig for white people. When I walk in the door, they hand me my money. With black folks, there are a lot, now understand this, there are a lot of black people that I don't have a problem getting paid for when I do gigs with them. I'm not saying that this is all black people, but I'm saying the majority of black people that I have done gigs for, I got to hunt them down at the end of the day in order to get my money. And then sometimes I don't even get it then. They make an excuse. Or I'll send it to you in the morning. Or you know, and then you don't hear from them for a whole week. You got to send out the APB on them to hunt them down. And then when you finally get them, you know, you might be able to get your money. after 2 weeks or whatever. So I'm saying all this to say that this disease of leprosy is a mindset, and many of us have it. Look, let me finish. I'm just going to read because my time is up. I'm running way out of time. What is yeah, I'm running out of time, big time. But I want to read the rest of these symptoms of domestic violence because, see, what I'm trying to get us to see is that all of us, I'm speaking of every Black person on the planet, all of us have been affected by this because our mothers passed this down to us. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the victim syndrome. This abuse, the feeling of being abused, the feeling of being lower than who you are, not being good enough. This stuff is passed down generationally. And abusers like to control, they decide what you wear and what you eat. I was saying that early. They humiliate you on purpose in front of others. Like the slave master, he would beat a slave in front of the other slaves so that they would get the message, you better not try to run away, nigga, because this is what's going to happen to you. They do the same thing on your job. They'll call you in the office to make it seem as if, I'm not going to fire you in front of everybody. But everybody already know if you get called in the master's office and then you come out and start putting your stuff in boxes, everybody know what's going on, And so they let you know that if you are a rebel or a type of Negro, that this is what happened to you. And then the rest of the niggas, they see what's going on. And so my point here is that men like Dr. King stood up for Black people and things of that nature and tried to do what he thought was best for Black folks, right? And look what happened to him. You see? And so now, what would be the motivation for another person desiring to do the same thing for Black people to do that? What would be the motivation? The same people that was in his camp, I ain't gonna mention names, you all know who I'm talking about. They the ones sold him out for a wing in a hospital and for a good push. So look, PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, is an effect of what is it called? Oh, you say, okay, this is it. It say PTSD. This can be a result of experiencing trauma or having a shocking or scary experience, such as sexual assault or physical abuse. PTSD. Depression, anxiety, all of these things, brothers and sisters, are having a not awesome, but horrific effect on Black people as a whole. And we don't even know that this is happening to us. We don't know that we seem to favor light skin over dark skin. When if our women have a baby and the baby is light skinned, the baby is beautiful. If they have curly hair or straight hair, it's beautiful hair. We don't even seem to notice that we seem to pay more attention to the light-skinned child than we do the dark-skinned child. Even though we as dark-skinned children were treated the same way, we grow up and still have that same syndrome. And we perpetuate and we pass it on generation after generation. And we don't even know that that's what we're doing. This is what leprosy is for, or the lecture is for today, so that we can put a name to it now. This behavior, it's leprosy. And do you know what happens to lepers when they caught leprosy back in the days of Jesus? This is when this disease was really pertinent. Do you know that they were banished from the community? They couldn't live with the rest of the people if they had leprosy. Am I saying we should banish our wannabe white folks, our Oreos? Damn right I am. But we all know it ain't gonna happen though. It's not gonna happen. And guess what? To my Oreo brothers and sisters, if you were to be banished by the whole entire race, white folks would kick you to the curb. They wouldn't accept you no more. They wouldn't have anything to do with you. They would cut whatever ties they have with you, because the only reason you are valuable to them is your connection to the black race. If you had no connection to the black race, I'm talking about my Jay-Z's, my Kanye West's, my Oprah's, all of you all. If the black race cut you off and took away your black card, you would be no value to the white man, and he would cut you loose. Let's find out, black folks. Let's get rid of our Oreo cookies. And maybe we can do something in our communities to try to make things better for us and not be looking for somebody to come and give us a grant and this, that, and another, so we can be what we know we could be on our own. Well, I believe my my time is up for the live, but leprosy, brothers and sisters, this is a psychological disease that has been going on for centuries, since the days of Jesus. Now that's how long, up until now, that's how long this disease has been going on. And we aren't doing anything about it. We're not doing anything. The best thing that could be done is to expose it. When we begin to see this mentality of believing that light is better, light skin is better, beauty, let me say this before we get out of here. Beauty has nothing to do with your skin color, your eyes, or your shape. Beauty is inside, from the inside. The Temptation sang a song, "Beauty's only skin deep." I don't know if they meant that the skin or the color of the skin, maybe they was trying to encourage black people, saying the deepness of your color is where beauty comes from, but it's not that. It's your personality, your character. That's a beautiful sister, but not from the outside. Because I know a lot of very so-called attractive women that are just ugly. I mean, ugly as hell. Oh, I mean, as far as I wouldn't even want to have them. No kind of. They couldn't be my friend. I wouldn't want them to be nowhere around me. No association with me, or nothing, because they are so rotten on the inside. We don't even look on the inside anymore. We think that beauty is fair skin, nice hair, nice hourglass shape. That makes you beautiful if you're looking for a prostitute. Be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. For John's looking for a nice prostitute. They look for that, the physical stuff. Brothers and sisters, we got to get out of this leprosy thing. We got to change our mind. We got to change our thinking. We got to reprogram ourselves. And let me say this before we get out of here. You cannot reprogram yourself. You didn't get programmed by yourself, and you can't be debunked or unprogrammed by yourself. You have to go to a magi. A magi made you the way you are, made us the way we are. Because I ain't excluding myself. I still got some issues like everybody else. But we have to be deprogrammed so that you become yourself again and not get into all of this crap that the world has given us for value. All these things that we think are valuable, that really aren't valuable at all. You know, this stuff is not valuable, brothers and sisters. That's not valuable. A stiff wind comes by and that's gone. This is not valuable. I've had many cars in my life, and I'm gonna shut up because I can keep talking. I've had many cars in my life. And the thing that I liked about the cars that I've had in my life, and I think God has blessed me, is that every car that I had ran good until it didn't. It ran good. It might not have looked the best. It might have had some dents in it. It might have had some rotten body work and things of that nature, but it ran good. And it served its purpose. It got me from point A to point B. And when it didn't get me from point A to point B, I got out and I left it where it broke down at, and I went on and God blessed me to get another one. It's the mentality, brothers and sisters, that we have to have in order to be able to change our conditions in life. I thank you all for listening, and may the Creator continue to bless you. And hopefully you'll go back over this lecture and share it with other people, that we may begin a campaign against leprosy, and all of our brothers and sisters out here that are affected by it. And understand what I'm saying. We should not hate our Black brothers and sisters that are affected by this. This is a disease. This is a programming. This is not our real brothers and sisters. They have been programmed to think like this, to act like this. We need to deprogram them. There was a movie out. I want you all to watch this. Go find this movie, and then maybe you get an idea of what we need to do. It's called Drop Squad. Go check it out. I leave you as I greeted you in the ancient but yet holy words of peace. Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu Alaikum, Habaragani, Alafia, and Ashe.
For joining us for our weekly.
In the essence of the eternal divine spirit, the one that causes all that exists to exist, the one that is self-existent.
How many men have children and the children never meet their father? See, you created a void in that child because you are a part of that child.
Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power!